Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back in that video today, and we're going to be talking about the Houston Texans, as the Houston Texans are sort of starting to finally figure out who's possibly going to be their new head coach. I mean, we saw some news pop out today that DeMeco Ryan's first choice for his head coaching job would be the Houston Texans. Obviously, the Broncos have some interest there with him. I don't know how he feels about them, but the Houston Texans are his number one choice. Also leading up to him also setting up his second interview with Houston, which I don't know if that was this weekend before. I doubt it was. No, it couldn't be this weekend, because with the NFC Championship game tomorrow. I don't think he would have. Yeah, I think the interview's later this week, so I think we're interviewing him on Monday or Tuesday. So, second interview for DeMeco Ryans as the Houston Texans head coach. Now, what is interesting, if the Eagles do beat the 49ers tomorrow, and the 49ers are officially eliminated, and come Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever that interview is, that second interview, and he likes what he hears, and things go well, and the 49ers aren't going to the Super Bowl, then maybe, just maybe, the Texans will hire their head coach. I doubt that he'll hire. I doubt he will officially join the Houston Texans until the 49ers are eliminated. I know we saw last season we saw the LA Rams go to the Super Bowl, and offensive coordinator Kevin O'Connell got hired by the Minnesota Vikings before the Super Bowl. And so he was still, I mean, obviously it's not like he was, not coaching for the Super Bowl, but he was already hired. You don't see it happen a lot. It happened with Kevin O'Connell. But I do think in this case, I think Ryans would wait until the 49ers get eliminated. But I do think the Eagles personally will win tomorrow. I think they have the better odds. So in that case, but I think that game that's like a coin toss. I mean, either one of those teams could win that game tomorrow. And that's going to be a great game in the NFC Championship. But I'm going to be talking about why I love DeMeco Ryans coming to the Houston Texans. I'm going to start with one easy one. He's a former Houston Texan. Obviously, there's barely any. There's one Houston Texans player that he has played with. The only player that was on the Houston Texans when he was teammates with DeMeco Ryan. He was teammates with John Weeks. DeMeco Ryans and John Weeks were teammates. Long snapper for the Houston Texans, they were teammates. I don't know how their relationship was, but that would be the only guy that DeMeco would play with. But he knows the city. J.J. Watt has a lot of respect for him. Obviously, J.J. Watt does not play for the Texans, but I think J.J. Watt's love for DeMeco Ryans could possibly bring J.J. Watt back to Houston. And you're probably thinking, J.J. Watt coming back to Houston? He's retired. Obviously, J.J. Watt's not going to be playing, but I've been thinking a lot about what J.J. Watt's going to be doing after football. And I think J.J. has, showed a lot of possible things of what he can be doing after football. I mean, he's been in a couple of movies. I remember seeing him in Bad. I think he was in Bad Moms. He's been in a movie or two. Maybe he pursues acting a little bit. I don't know. Maybe he, wants to be a football analyst. I don't know what he wants to do. But I know he loves DeMeco Ryans. I know he's really close with him. He spoke very high on him. They are close friends. And if a spot comes open and, coaching is something J.J. Watt might want to do, I know he's really young at 33, but I could possibly see J.J. Watt coming in and joining this Texans coaching staff. I don't know what position he would be. Obviously, I think he's way too early to be a defensive coordinator, of course. I mean, he's 30. He's very smart when it comes to defense-wise, but I think it's just too early being his first coaching job. He would probably be some type of assistant or something if the Texans If coaching would be something he would be interested in, I don't know. I would think that JJ would probably want to take a year off from football and then maybe come back as maybe as an analyst or assistant coach or something like that. I think for JJ, I think he wants to still be involved in football. So I think it's either analyzing, like whether he's on one of those main shows where it's CBS or it's NBC or it's CBS or NBC or it's Fox or whatever he's on. So, or if not that, then maybe he comes and joins DeMeco Ryans' staff. I don't know. That's a potential option. But besides that, I just love DeMeco Ryans, what he brings to the table. Because, I just think that this right now, and I think this could change in the draft just depending on what the Texans do. Yes, if the Texans get a quarterback, they're way better on offense. John Mechie will return to their offense. Dameon Pierce coming in his second year. But even though with all that, I still think this is more of our team is more planted on the defensive end than it is on the offensive end. With Derek Stingley Jr. and Jalen Petrie going into their second years. Way other pieces, just developing. I really like John Grenard. He's something special with the defensive end. There's some other good pieces around there. Roy Lopez. I think, especially I think DeMeco Ryans would work really well with our defensive ends because that's position he played. I think he can help out with John Grenard and Roy Lopez. So in that case, you got those two guys. They're studs. You got a veteran in Malik Collins who's great at stopping the run. And just a lot of other talented pieces. And I think the Texans will add more defense in this draft. So, and also the Texans have some money to spend in free agency. So in that case, I think they might add a couple of defense. Some players might want to come to the Houston Texans in free agency because the Texans have the money and a smart defensive head coach if DeMeco Ryans is the head coach. So I think with him, you adding some more defensive players in, more defensive players going into their second year, some going into their first year, even some going in their third year with Roy Lopez and some of the other players we drafted in the 2021 draft, or the 2021 draft, and then adding in a smart-ass defensive head coach, the defense starts to look better and better. This defense was not fucking around last season. This defense was pretty good. I mean, the offense was just horrendous. I mean, so many turnovers, but the defense played good. I mean, we didn't play awful, but we didn't play excellent either. The biggest problem was stopping the run for the Houston Texans. Yes, they had pass problems as well, but they were a huge interception club, caused a lot of fumbles, so many turnovers. The Texans had a lot of caused turnovers in this season, last season. So many interceptions when it comes to Petrie, and the list goes on for interceptions. So the Texans were a great turnover group defensive-wise, and I just think that DeMeco Ryans brings a very special thing for defensive-wise for our defense. I think he'd be huge for our defensive end. I don't know when it comes to offense, when it comes to him working with the rookie quarterback, Bryce Young, or C.J. Stroud, whoever is the quarterback, but I think that will be easily worked out. I think that the Houston Texans also will have to find a new offensive coordinator. I just don't think Pep Hamilton is the guy. I think a new play caller on the offensive end will be perfect for the Houston Texans. I don't know who that is. Well, I'm sure DeMeco Ryans and the Texans, or whoever is our head coach. I'm not going to assume that DeMeco Ryans is officially coming to Houston, but I'm sure that DeMeco Ryans, if he's the head coach or whoever is the head coach, will figure out who is the best available option for offensive coordinator. Pep Hamilton has not been fired yet, but I am thinking it will happen. But a part of me kind of thinks that the Texans will bring him back as the offensive coordinator position and see how he does with the new quarterback. Because I don't think Pep Hamilton will be that bad with the new quarterback, but we'll see what happens. I think that the Texans might give him another shot, but we'll see. So, yeah, I just think I think he will be very big for the Houston Texans if he comes here. Like I said, I think he could bring on J.J. Watt with him as an assistant. I doubt it would be this season, maybe the next season, because, if you bring in Ryans, he's not going to be a one-year stay like Lovie Smith or David Culley. He's going to be here multiple seasons. I'm not going to guarantee he's going to be here, for a long time. But what I can tell you is I'm definitely going to guarantee that if the Texans hire DeMeco Ryans, he will at least be here from 2 to 4 seasons, if not more. So that's really it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts on the Texans' potential hire with DeMeco Ryans. I think maybe next week we can have a potential hire. Just depends on what happens with that the Philly San Francisco game tomorrow. I don't think he will go anywhere until they're officially eliminated, and I do think the Eagles will win tomorrow. So that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts, and peace out. Go Texans.